Hello, and welcome to the Empowerography Podcast. This is a platform created for women's voices to be heard and a place to share their stories, journeys, and successes with the world for the purpose of helping other women who might be on similar journeys. We are empowering women one episode at a time. I'm your host, Brad Walsh, so kick back, grab one of your favorite beverages, and enjoy the stories. You've got a story to share, a message to inspire, and a passion ready to ignite. But where do you start? The world is waiting for your voice. With From Idea to Implementation, Start Your Own Podcast, you'll get the roadmap to turn your vision into reality. This isn't just a course, it's your launching pad. Step by step, we'll break down the process from defining your purpose to recording your first episode so you can finally share your voice with confidence. Stop overthinking it and start doing it. Your voice has the power to connect and lead. Are you ready to use it? Join the waitlist today. Your podcast journey starts now. The world is waiting. You can find the link to sign up for the waitlist in the show notes. We'll see you soon. Hello there, Brad Walsh here, your host of the Empowerography Podcast, a platform that was created to help elevate and amplify the voices of women through sharing their stories. Today, my guest is Sonmez. She is a transformation coach, a master energy healer, and a mindfulness expert. Welcome, Gul. How are you doing today?
Good. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited.
It is my pleasure and my honor. I'm very excited to have you here. So with that being said, let us jump right in. Thank you for taking and making the time to be here with me today. I appreciate that. I guess we'll start with your work as a transformation coach. What inspired you to become a transformation coach, and how did your journey begin? Was there, let's say, a pivotal moment in your life that was a catalyst for you to decide to dive into this particular field of work of helping people transform their lives? And so would you mind sharing that with us?
Yeah, of course. Actually, this path was not on my mind at all. I didn't enter this path, okay, let me become a coach or healer or whatever. I think 11 years ago now, it's been more than 10 years, I had a bit health problem. I had an issue on my right hand, and I'm right-handed. So one day I couldn't move my right finger. And they couldn't find out why. I had all the MRIs, doctors, hospitals. My hand was in a cast for almost 2 months. And they couldn't figure out why. And because all the scans were clear, they said to have surgery. But I didn't want to let them to open my right hand for no reason, no particular reason. And that time, actually, one of my friends booked a session with a healer. She said, why don't you try this? Because, you got nothing to lose. And I said, okay, let me just try. And actually, my journey started there. I went to the house of that lady, which became my teacher later, which really inspired me, kind of forced me to do this work. And after a couple of sessions, my hand was completely open. What she told me immediately is right side of the body is related to masculine energy. Something is so stuck in your life, like your body is giving you a signal of stuck, because I really couldn't use my hand out of no reason. This is how I started. It was like a wake-up call. And I really liked the lady and what she was teaching to me, but I was having a very good corporate career. So I never thought I would leave my career for this kind of work, but I loved learning these things for myself and using these things for myself. And they really helped me to change my life, manifest my life. I moved to Europe. I met the guy of my dreams. I was just using those things. And she was always telling, one day you're going to do it to others. And really one thing after another, I had to accept to work with a boy because he was in a coma. His mother was my friend. She really asked me if I can do some work. I started actually from there. I always say my first clients was my hardest clients of all times. Yeah. And I just from there, I'm living in Luxembourg, and it's a very small country. It's in the middle of Europe. And people heard that they were trying to ask me for sessions. I did sessions here, sessions there. Then my husband now, my boyfriend back then, we were both working at Amazon headquarters. And it was like, healer, nobody will believe in these things. Come on, you have all this amazing career. Now you're going to say you're a healer. Why don't you become a coach? And I was like, a good idea. Why don't I become a coach? Then I took all the trainings, but I couldn't stop the other side. So I started combining both, actually. It's a journey of almost 11 years now.
How have these experiences helped shape the Gul you are today, both personally and professionally, do you think?
Yeah, actually, it's a matrix. When you take the pill, you take the pill. It's really hard. Actually, unlike most people who left this world from their jobs, I loved working in corporate world. It was really, I was a good fit for it. I loved all the companies I worked, even though they were very demanding big multinationals. I really liked the job actually. So it was a big decision for me. But when you start to see this side, it's really hard to go back. I think the way it helped me is that for the first time in my life, I was able to remove all the masks. As women, also men, we carry a lot of masks, right? This is how we should behave in the corporate life. This is how we should behave with the in-laws. This is how you should behave, especially depending on culture. Sometimes you behave in front of your family. I'm coming from such a culture, so I was always filtering. I think this word really helped me to be me, kind of like me who I am without filtering. Learn on the way with many mistakes, though. I like to say.
Yeah, of course.
But I think this is, and I used to stay in drama a lot because life happens all the times. Like when you do this work, people always think you have a fabulous life and you manifest everything. It doesn't happen like that. Life has its ups and downs. Last 2 years, I was already in 10 years in my healing journey. I was diagnosed with infertility. And it was a very heavy journey. By the way, I don't know if you see, I'm 7 months pregnant now.
No. Yes.
I've been beat on the camera.
Wow.
Yeah. This is why sometimes.
Incredible. Congratulations.
Thank you. It was a very heavy journey. But rather than staying in I managed to change my story. Not, of course, super fast. It took me 1 good year. But still this teaching, if I didn't have these teachings, probably I would stay in misery or heavy depression.
And so what would you say then has been the biggest or most valuable takeaway or lesson for you through these experiences?
I think the most valuable lesson was like the life happens all the time. It's not about always having the best life or the best things happens to you. But at the same time, they all happen for a reason and you can co-create always the life. Like you cannot create the life. It's not in our hands, actually. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. But with aligned actions and with tools and teachings, you can really navigate life a bit more ease rather than drama or always staying in negativity or always attracting the same stories. You can really break the cycle. So this is why I love the word getting unstuck. Sometimes so I think like for me, this getting unstuck when life stucks you. I don't know if you can say it in English, but when you're stuck in life, to be able to get out of things is the most important for me.
Yeah, getting unstuck, that works. Yeah, absolutely. What is your definition of transformation? What does that word mean to you personally?
Yeah, for me, transformation is a journey that we actually take almost every day. It's not a destination that we reach. It's not when we're going to have these things. It is actually transforming today, because in the end, it's all about today. It's if you have a problem with your partner, can you do something really easy like Ho'oponopono, etc. You can transform the energy in the house. You have a problem with your boss, can you transform your energy at the workplace? You have you heard a bad day with the politics and everything. Can you stay in the positivity? So for me, transformation is like all these little tools that they help you today so you navigate the life a bit more easily.
Beautiful. As a transformation coach, what do you believe are the key elements required for profound personal or societal change?
Yeah, for personal, I think I work with more than thousands of sessions, hundreds of clients. I see always 3 things. The first thing, the person needs to make a decision that they're done, they're willing to do what it takes. Because nobody's going to heal you. Nobody has the magic wand. You would know it if somebody has this potential. Nobody has it in the world, right? You would know it with the social media. So those are just people who are going to help you on the way, but you do the work. In order to do the work, when things get tough, in my own journey, when the doctors are telling me month over month, you don't have any ovarian reserve, you cannot get pregnant, how are you going to hold the faith? With just the inner will. So I think the most important thing is that person is willing. They made a decision that they are going to transform their life. The second one, I say always faith. I always say, if you don't have faith, I don't know how to work with you. You don't need to believe in what I believe, but either the universe or the creator or the mother nature or Allah, whatever, something bigger than you. Because when things get tough, we cannot understand why all the time. The thing that keeps us going is our faith systems, is our hope. I think this is really important. Maybe universal intelligence, whatever you call, that something is greater than you, and you learn how to surrender to that one. And the third one is actually surrender, because in my journey, I realized that sometimes we really force things, But when we still want and desire, but surrender, we get there a bit more with more ease. So I also use this three things I think should be a must.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing those. Very helpful. What role do self-awareness and introspection play in the process of transformation? And how do you encourage individuals to cultivate these qualities? What do you believe is the most significant misconception that people have about the process of transformation?
Yeah, I think self-awareness is the key, but sometimes we all go to pity party. Oh, this happened to me. This
Yeah.
happened to me. My father did to me. My mother did to me. My husband, my ex-husband, bro. Sometimes we stay in the drama a lot. Yes, it happened to you, but unless you need to understand the lesson, make peace with it, and move on. Forgive, but not enough forgive. I love this person. Forgiveness is just we do for ourselves. So understand the lesson so we can move on. We don't stay in the drama. I think self-awareness is the key of any transformation, because without accepting where you are, and sometimes also accepting that, yes, you made a mistake. It's okay. You're human. You learned from this mistake and probably you're not going to do it again. So self-awareness is the key. But sometimes I see, especially in this transformation or healing area, this turn it to be a bit, okay, let's poke the drama again and again and turn it to, oh, it happened to me. So I think you go there, you deal it once and you just move on.
Yeah, I think having the self-awareness to be able to, when we're going through a shitty situation, to believe and to know that it's happening for us, there's a reason for it, and to be able to pull the lesson or the silver lining out of that situation and use that to move forward and evolve and grow as a person and take it forward with you.
Exactly. And I understand people. Of course, it's easy when maybe they didn't promote you. The self-awareness is a bit easier when they tell you cannot have a kid, or when they tell you lost your mother, or when they tell you your spouse has a deadly disease.
Yeah.
So under the circumstances, obviously so painful.
Yes.
So we need to respect the pain, respect the grief, and also let us accept this process as well. But we cannot forever stay in the grief or the pain. Yes, it happens to us for a reason. Maybe you cannot immediately shift, okay, my father died for a reason. Let me be happy.
Of course.
But how long are you going to stay there? And after some time, you need to help yourself to move from there. So this is why self-awareness, I think, really important.
Beautiful. Can you describe a moment of personal transformation that challenged your beliefs or worldview?
So the first thing happened at 10, I think, when I first started healing was because I was so much on my left brain. I never believed in this kind of things. I always thought with, science and etc., I was going to be able to solve everything. I could control everything. When I had this disease, I just realized, okay, I have no control. Nobody has any control. Nobody can understand why. Suddenly my left brain, okay, what is the reason? What is happening to me? It's like they don't know, because if you fall and hurt your hand, okay, you can still say I fell.
Yeah.
Maybe you fell for a reason, but at least you don't need to go there. I think it was the first time that I need to really look at my life and understand that physical symptoms are messengers for us, so that they're signals something is wrong there. I think this was I thought it was the biggest up until the last 2 years when I learned my infertility. And then it became the biggest, obviously, because again, I had the physical challenge, which is emotionally heavy to carry. And meantime, trying to understand why I'm blocking this. Will it happen in this life? Will it not happen? Because it's not just about, okay, let me have the kid. It's about also accepting maybe something's going to happen.
Yeah.
So I think these two were the biggest ones so far.
And those are huge for sure. Now, what is one tip or takeaway that you can share with listeners that they can implement immediately to start stepping into the transformation process?
I think the easiest tip that I always say, please start journaling. It's so simple. But because it's so simple, it's so effective. It's been there for centuries for a reason, because it's really effective. When you're having a bad day, when you have a struggle, when you're crying, in all the situations it works. A, it's free. B, you don't need anyone. C, you can, if you carry a little, you can write on your computer, a little notebook, notepad, whatever. It's easy that you can have it with you all the time. So when you write, you immediately realize the first things that come is, all your mind talk, all the shame, all the guilt, all the blame, all the anger. But after some time, when you continue writing, persist that you're going to write about it, you start to hear your inner voice and you start to see things differently. I think the first thing I would tell anyone, really make writing a habit. Even if you don't know what to write, just say, okay, I don't know what to write, I'm angry. I don't know what to write, I'm angry at this person. Eventually. So I think for me, the thing that I cannot live without is writing. And I force all my clients to write their agenda.
Thank you for that tip. That's a great tip.
Thank you. Yeah, I use it a lot.
It's part of my daily practice as well. I have what I call my MMJ practice. That's movement, meditation, and journaling every day. Do those three things.
Every day.
Yep, for sure. And sometimes, it's hard to stay in that practice. Sometimes I fall off and I don't do it. But that's okay. As long as you get back to it, it helps. I feel a difference when I don't do those things in myself.
Exactly.
And when you get into that practice of that, though, it's a lot easier. It takes time to get into the practice and get into the habit. But once you do, it's much easier.
Yeah, exactly. And I would also say the second one is meditation. Yeah. If you ask me the meditation, we all talk about meditation, but unless you do it, you don't understand how it affects you. And when you start to do it, even 5 minutes, 10 minutes a day, you really start to see the shifts within you. So you practice it, like you experience it the first hand. So I think journaling and meditation are the two key things if you want to transform anything in your life.
For sure. I would agree with that 100%. If you could share one powerful truth about transformation, what would it be?
One powerful truth that it's really in your hands. There's so many people who did it. Sometimes we overcomplicate our transformation story. We make it a suffering story. But if we follow a logical practice, it should happen eventually. Maybe not immediately. I think most people think that it's going to happen immediately. They listen to one affirmation and the second day they want this affirmation to work. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. I wish it does, but it doesn't. When you do the internal shifts, external needs to shift. I always say to my clients. So when you really do internal shifts, maybe you don't have a soulmate, you find a soulmate. You cannot get promotion, you get the promotion. You need to see something tangible in your external life. But the path to get there might take some work. This is why the work, you need to do the work. But when you do the work, not immediately, but eventually you see the external shifts. So if I say one thing, just trust the internal shifts, always create the external shifts so that it's there for you.
Beautiful. We've become this society, though, that wants the quick fix or the magic bullet fix so that they don't have to do the work. That's the problem, is people just want it fixed like that and they don't want to do the work. Yeah. And that needs to shift. That mindset needs to shift because there is no quick fix. There is no quick path. There's no magic bullet. You just have to do the work.
Exactly, because it really takes our time or mind to accept the new beliefs, for example. You don't immediately get it because you've been wired in a certain way for good 30, 40 years, and now you're trying to shift it. And it's going to take some time. It's like the law of gestation in nature, right? You plant a seed. There's nothing tomorrow. No. You still give water. You wait that it takes some time, that something green comes. You don't eat it immediately if you plant the fruit. You still wait. But you don't grow up and say, where is it? So our transformation is actually the same. So you start to plant the seed, you let go of some stuff, you accept new stuff, but you need to give yourself this time. It really doesn't happen. I wish it does, but it really doesn't happen.
Yeah, I actually planted a garden for the very first time this past summer, and I was in awe of the process of nature, of growing. Like I actually put seeds in the ground, saw them come to life, and I ate the fruit that it bared, ate the food. Like, that is incredible. That process is so powerful and beautiful and incredible. It's an amazing thing to witness and to know that I did that. How amazing. Like, I had a hand in that. I didn't do it, but I had a hand in it. And that is phenomenal.
Yeah, and you don't take them the next day. No. You don't go and if it's there, you just let it be. Just give it water.
Give it love, give it water. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think the transformation is very simple for us as well.
For sure. Now, I want to dive into the spirituality side of things and energy healing. What led you down the path of the energy healing? Was there a defining moment in that for you?
Yeah, actually, the first people that I worked in this field was an energy healer. She was a Reiki master and she was working on these things. And actually, she was the one who was giving me books about it, teaching me things about it. She made me a Reiki master. But I was just witnessing and learning. I was just like a sponge. But what really shifted when I started to test these things on me. Okay, this is what the book says. Let me try. Does it really work? Okay, this is how you should talk to, let's say, angels. Will it really help me? I think the defining moments was like when I did the exercise and when I see the things are shifting, I'm like, oh my God, this is working. This is why my approach is whoever you work with, make sure that they give you tools so that you learn how to navigate and work with these things by yourself. Because let's be realistic, right? Your drama or your trauma or your life issues do not come when you're going to a session.
No.
They come at night. They come when you're alone. They come when you cannot reach anyone. If you go through some hard divorce or this kind of things, you're alone at night and you cry maybe in the kitchen on the floor by yourself, right? Mm-hmm. So you need to have this kind of tools that you know that are working. In order to have them, you need to test them first. So I think for me, when I was working with this type of energy, when I realized it's working, it was like, oh my God, okay, this is real.
I've heard many people say that humans have all the tools we need within us to help in healing ourselves. Is this something that you subscribe or believe in?
I believe in that, but I also believe in science. So I think it's always good to keep both approaches together. Okay. Because maybe you pray to angels or universe God to send you a healing, and maybe they send you the right doctor for it. So we don't know how universe operates. So I believe we have all the tools within ourselves, but they also help us a lot. So it's really nice to be open-minded and try to read the signals, in what form the help is coming to me.
Yeah.
I think that part is really important. Maybe you prayed and one of your friends suggests a book. Maybe what you need is in that book and you just skip because you trust, because you pray it's going to happen. No, they already send you the healing. You just need
that. I think that speaks to and ties back into what we were talking about earlier with the self-awareness and being open to receiving and seeing the signs when they come too, because not everyone is aware that they're there. So it's about having that awareness to recognize the signs when they come.
Exactly. And what I witnessed in my own journey, most of us think that the sign comes and the sign is going to take us from A to here, right? It doesn't happen like this. The sign takes you here, then another sign takes you, and then you go there. So
it's a journey. Right? It's a journey.
So maybe it doesn't immediately take you there, but it will take you there as long as you follow your intuition, as long as you trust yourself. And maybe on the way you make some mistakes, but it will take you there.
Absolutely. How has your journey as a spiritual energy healer transformed your own life and personal beliefs?
Oh, it changed everything, actually. It changed everything, especially in the time of despair. I think I can move myself up from there really quickly. Instead of staying very long time, I stay, still I stay, because I'm a human. Still I stay there when I have a heavy news, but I stay there. And it always helps me to find tools or methods to get unstuck. Yeah, okay, it's happening now. How can I get out of this? And it actually also gave me a bit more compassion to people than normal. I was not super compassionate. And still I cannot say I love everyone. It's really not me. But it really made me understand, okay, observe them better. This is happening. Maybe they have something going on in their life. So this observation really taught me that because we take everything personal and we make our life miserable because we think it's all about us. But when you start to observe, you realize maybe it's not about you.
It's nothing to do with us.
Exactly. So you start to take things less personal and you just also realize everything happens for a reason. Why this person is bothering me now? Like, why are they giving me this kind of, I hate you? And I realize when we have strong virtues, whenever we cannot hold on to our virtues, somebody, if they do it, it bothers us a lot. Like, for example, being honest is a virtue for you and actually you're lying to yourself. And then somebody at the job lies about the work and you get so angry, so frustrated. So I think this type of work really helps you to look at yourself super fast and then understand and move on a bit easily.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. How do you prepare yourself, both mentally and spiritually, before conducting a healing session?
So I have two. One, I do mindfulness workshops in corporate life, which are very fun, which I love this type of work because it's more like teaching. For those ones, I just sit, I imagine what they're going to learn from me. I send lots of love and energy to the place, and I ask for help from my spirit team to step in if I forget something. So I start really high. And I always imagine that there is one person in the room. There's one person who's going to take this teaching and change their life. So it really brings my energy up. For one-to-one work, for healing sessions, actually, it takes a bit more because first I need to be really grounded. I need to leave everything out of the door. So I usually start with my day a bit easy with my daily meditation, focusing on whatever I need to let go from me. Then I journal. And before the session, I just do this kind of prayer, whatever needs to be seen today, whatever needs to be released, whatever they are ready, please show me because that's why they're paying me. And in some sessions, we go to some stories. We are both like, wow, how do we end up here? Because that day they're ready for that story. So I do this prayer. And after the session, I also cleanse myself, cleanse the client so that nobody's energy field. So we're both cleansed. This is how I usually end. But I take good half an hour before, half an hour after in my one-on-one.
Amazing. What are some of the most profound spiritual insights or truths that you've uncovered through your work?
I think one thing I covered is that in order to get help, you really need to ask. Also from your spiritual team. It doesn't work. Like you really need to be willing to open your heart and receive. So for that, okay, help me with this situation. Please help me. Please step in. Don't assume it's just going to come to you. I think in all three religions, it's also taught like that. The angels or the spirit guides, whatever, they step in when you ask for help. Because most of us, we don't know how to ask for help. It also works in the spiritual realm, right?
Yeah.
The situation, God, I don't know how to handle it. I'm giving it to you. Please show me a way. So you need to ask for help is one thing. Second thing, stop trying to control the process. The help that you think and the help would come could be completely different than what you think because they have their own ways. So maybe you think that they're going to help you. Let's say you don't have money, you ask for a client and you have this meeting today and you really say, oh my God, please send me that client. And the client says, no, it's okay because maybe another would come or somebody else is there. You don't know. Just accept that they have their own methods instead of you trying to control. And I really learned it during my fertility journey. I tried to control it for a year. It didn't work. It failed completely. Okay, it's your timings, but if it's please send me the right people. Please, I really want it in this lifetime. It happened with their timing.
Yeah.
It didn't happen with me, actually. But when I look now, the timing is actually very good. But during that pain, sometimes we really forget that. I think this is the second. And the third thing is, it's an easy word. We always say it, but surrender is a very powerful word. Like, how can you embody surrender? Because in our daily life, we're not wired to surrender, right? We all have our to-do list or obligations, especially if you work in a corporate life. You cannot surrender so much. There are so many things you need to do. So how can you embody this virtue of surrender is, I think, a big thing in spiritual work.
I love that you shared all of that because it's a big part of the preventative stuff for us as humans is the conditioning. We've been taught and conditioned that asking for help is a sign of weakness, both in 3D or in the 3D world and the spiritual world. Asking for help, we're taught to no, you've got to figure this out yourself. Asking for help is weak. When I think about that, though, I think it's exactly the opposite. I think that not asking for help is a sign of weakness, and admitting that you need help is a sign of strength. So we need to shift that mindset. We need to shift that way of thinking because we cannot do this alone. We are not here on this planet to do anything alone. We're here to do it in community with each other, with support, with cheerleading, with help, and guidance. All of these things play a part in it, but it's that conditioning that's led us to believe that, no, you have to do it by yourself. Asking for help is not right.
Exactly. So we also did on our spiritual journey. We don't ask for help to divine intelligence, try to control how the help come to you. So yeah, I totally agree.
For sure. In what ways do you believe that spiritual healing can contribute to societal well-being and collective consciousness?
I think so. When you are in such a journey, you really understand yourself first, right? You understand who you are, and then you work through, because it's a journey. When you get in this journey, usually you tend to work more on your purpose rather than what you need to. And when people are understanding themselves and trying to work on the things that they really love, to be more compassionate, when they don't hate themselves, when you love yourself, then there's a different vibration you give to others. And then when people do it, if we love ourselves more, we have less guilt, we have less shame, we have less depression. So it also helps us as society. Like imagine you go to work and you say good morning to your coworker and they look at you like, so good morning. So obviously they hate themselves, right? And do you really want to work with people who cannot even say good morning, right? You want to work with people who can at least say good morning. Or you want to work with people who can laugh. You don't want to work with people or with friends who are just complaining all the time. It's so draining.
The negativity, yeah. So, it's not a good energy to be around.
Exactly. So when you're more positive, then everything around you changes. Then you have a bit more positive life. It really helps everyone, actually. We all benefit from it.
Absolutely agree. Our energy affects everything. Everything is energy. And when we are negative, it affects everyone around us. And no one wants to be around negativity. Although some people do, misery loves company, as they say, right? There are some people who just want to be in that space or don't know how to get out of that space, and they just thrive on that negativity.
Exactly, because this is what I mentioned when you ask me, what do they need to have for transformation, is the willingness. Because what I notice, some people, as you say, really want to stay there. Like they're not going to change. They're not going to shift. They're going to stay in this victim mode no matter what. They're always going to, because blaming someone else, it really then stops you to look at yourself and accept what did you do wrong.
Yeah.
So this is why, because when you do this journey, it's actually your work is with yourself. And it's not easy all the time, because you look all your dark parts instead of putting blame on someone else. You understand, okay, what happened to me? And I realized on the journey, some people are really not willing to do this work, and it's okay because they want to stay there. Staying there kind of helps them, and it's okay. But you really want to spend your life with someone like that.
No, it's easier. It's much, much easier to blame someone else than to accept responsibility.
Exactly.
For sure. How has your spiritual journey evolved since you began practicing energy healing? And are there any key milestones or shifts that you've experienced?
I think it really, when I started, when I had clients, I could never dare to take big risk. So I could never leave my corporate job. I could never leave my marriage. I could never change my country. So all the big things I did in my life, I think I could never, ever dare to do, because getting out of comfort zone is not easy. It's not easy for anyone.
No.
People sometimes misunderstand inspired actions are going to be so easy. No, they're out of your comfort zone. So it's easy to watch Netflix and do nothing for everyone. Like for me as well, like just eating ice cream and watching TV, it's easy for all of us, right?
Yeah.
Writing this type of work really helped me to push me to get out of my comfort zone. And the more I did it, I realized, okay, it was hard, but now I'm living the life I want. What I want now. So it really helped me to manifest a life that is really, when I wake up, I feel alignment.
Yeah.
And I think it's a very beautiful feeling, which I didn't have before, because being aligned does not mean everything is good in your life, but at least you know you're doing your part.
Yeah. What are you missing out on when you don't do that? What are you sacrificing when you're not doing the work? What are you losing by not doing that, as opposed to how much you can gain and grow when you do put in the work, and how much you can expand and evolve?
Exactly. And sometimes I think we over exaggerate the work. Doing maybe 10 minutes meditation to forgive someone is not as hard as you think as well. So sometimes we also create so much drama on our transformation journey. But the more you get used to these techniques, after you do them, like maybe it takes you half an hour to forgive someone. Now in just 10 minutes, you get it done with. And so it's not also that hard. Yes, it's out of your comfort zone. But it's like everything. When you learn a new language, for example, I'm learning Italian now. It is really out of my comfort zone. In my native tongue, there is no feminine or masculine, or there is no irregulars or all these things, right? So it's really hard. But the more I do it, the more I practice, the more I get better. I think spiritual practice is the same.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for sharing that. As a mindfulness expert, How has your personal journey with mindfulness shaped the way you teach and guide others?
Mindfulness was amazing in my journey, to be honest, because that time I was doing healing sessions. I was just into transformation and healing, but I changed my job to part-time, and the COVID happened and everybody was burned out. We were all working from home, and the houses in Europe, I don't know, maybe in US you have bigger houses, but the houses are really small. We were all stuck in 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom apartments, and you have to cook, clean, navigate. Some people have kids, everything together. So that time my manager came and said, "Gül, we know you do this kind of work. Can you create a mindfulness series for us?" It just came top down because all employees are in this situation. And for the first time, I'm like, how can I bring these teachings I learned on my spiritual journey under the umbrella of mindfulness so it can really help corporate people not from a spiritual perspective, but from a mindfulness perspective. And then I realized actually they're very similar to each other.
Okay.
So hearing your inner voice or inner guide is like also in coaching, you can say you hear your inner CEO. So but in the end, you hear the same thing. So I think converting them to a language that more people speak gave me this room to reach out to more people. And I really loved it. So before it was more like it's a bit hoo-hoo, only some people wants to do this kind of work. It helped me to carry it to a wider number of people. And with all the books, all the suggestions, all the meditations, I really had the chance to witness how does it help in their journey. So from that perspective, I think mindfulness was amazing because it's amazing still, because it's not a religion. It's just kind of tools and teachings that help you to stay now so you navigate life better. The spiritual journey is almost the same. So I think it really helped me to reach more people.
Amazing. And so what are some simple yet powerful ways people can practice mindfulness in their daily routines?
I think the easiest one is meditation.
Okay.
Like meditation and journaling should be like, okay, they're easy. Even if you don't do it daily, if you do it 3 times a week, it's better than not doing it at all. If you do it 4 times a week, it's simple not doing it at all. Because you need to find a way to hear yourself. And the world is really busy.
Yes.
We're watching videos all the time. They're very short. Right now, people cannot even watch 20 minutes videos anymore. They watch 1 minute, 2 minute videos.
Yeah.
So you have all this news, media, everything going on. And it's very stressful. So you really need to find the time for yourself. And meditation, again, you can do it anywhere. There are so many different types. You can find the type that you like, that you can really connect to. You don't need to do the type of meditations that you don't like. And it's easy. You just don't need anything. You just need to listen to it. So I think meditation and journaling must be the key ones that you always keep in your pocket that can really help you. Then if you want to go a bit further, I really advise guided journaling rather than just free journaling. You really journal based on the questions that are given to you. So it really helps you to look at that problem in your life. Let's just journal whatever is on my mind. Okay, this is the problem I want to tackle. Let me journal based on that. So I really find it also super useful. And also one type of physical activity. It's can be based on what you want, but it's true without changing our physiology, we cannot really change your mood and state. So when you're heavily crying, maybe you cannot do meditation, right? When you had a horrible news, maybe you cannot suddenly find love, light, and universe. Maybe you just need to go for a walk. And you also need to remember it's always mind, body, and soul. Like the journey helps the mind, meditation helps the soul. You need to add something for your body. For me, it's usually walking. Walking, jumping, fitness, whatever you like, yoga. But you need to find a way to help your body to release hormones as well so that you cover all this stress.
With the meditation piece, if someone has never meditated before, I mean, I always hear people, I can't meditate. I can't shut my mind off. And I don't think it's about shutting your mind off. Would you suggest starting with guided meditations?
I would, because I'm also coming from a very busy corporate life, right? And I also do a lot of meditations there. And this is the first thing I get in a workshop. I never meditated before. I cannot focus on something because my mind is so busy. So when your mind is so busy, when you're coming from that, maybe you cannot immediately go to a silent meditation because you've never done it before. Or maybe you cannot go through a mantra meditation because you want to understand the mantra. Then you're thinking, what does this mantra mean? Because it doesn't ring a bell to you. Guided meditation at least helps you, your mind, to follow something. And when we listen, it tells you to visualize a forest. You automatically visualize a forest. But they need to remember three things. One, it's a habit. It takes time. So the win is not that you have focus all the time. It's impossible. You're a human. Like maybe during the meditation, you suddenly realize, I forgot to take the chicken out of the freezer. It's okay. Or maybe you realize, oh my God, I forgot to tell my husband to take the kids. You're in the middle of meditation. So the win is when you realize your mind is somewhere else, you just take a deep breath and you go back to listening to the voice. And you go back more. The more you go back there, you will realize you can focus more and more easily. And when you get used to it, the guided meditation, because you train your mind, you can do silent meditations a bit more easily because after some time, your mind is also learning. It has a learning curve. Your mind is also learning how to focus.
Beautiful.
So yeah, I definitely advise guided.
Thank you. Thank you for that advice. How do you continue deepening your own mindfulness practice as an expert in the field?
So actually, my thing is I'm obsessed with books. And when I find something, I read it. I'm obsessed with it because there are so many things to learn. And so I always read, like always, because there's always something else to learn. And when I go through something, either in the sessions or in my personal life, I like to convert them. Okay, how people can benefit from either the mistakes I did, because you also do a lot of mistakes on the journey, or from the things that I do. For example, right now I'm working on a series, but I don't know when I'm going to release it, about just the journey of IVF and infertility, because I made so many mistakes along the way. In the spiritual way as well, I made so many mistakes. And the things that helped me, the things that didn't help me, what I like is when you try to put it in a format that can help people, then you need to do a lot of research. So it really helps me to deepen the learning there.
Okay.
Deepen the learning there. And I also always change the meditations I do just to see how I react to different kind of modalities. And if I like a modality, I immediately use it.
Do you have a couple of book recommendations that you could provide for people that are just starting out on their mindfulness journey?
Yes. So the one that I love, and I find it like I think everybody needs to read, is a very short book. So it's also good. It's called 4 Agreements. It's a bestseller. Probably everyone knows it, but please read it with a different mindset. Don't, because it's a very short book. What I always advise, read the agreement, stop and journal about it. Do you use it in your life? How can you use it more? So you really embody it. Because let's say one of the agreements is just don't take it personally. Still you're taking things personally. The more you understand, the more it helps you. So this is my all-time favorite. Second one is The Surrender Experiment by Michael Singer. I think it's not a spiritual book, actually. It's an entrepreneur, how he built his business through surrendering. So I think it really helped me to understand the concept of surrender from a total different perspective. And the book might trigger you. Come on, you cannot surrender that much. But it really explains what surrender is and how you can maybe use 50% of it. And the one that I really love for heart chakra, especially of love, is The 40 Rules of Love by Elif Shafak.
What's it called? Sorry?
It's called The 40. Like
40? Okay.
40 Rules of Love.
Okay.
So it's a Sufi journey. It's about Rumi and Shams. But when you read that book, there are some rules and some teachings of Rumi in the book. And it really makes you to open your heart to love more. And as Rumi says, what he says is our job is not to seek for love. It's just to release all the barriers in the heart so the love can come to you. When I was reading that book, and I read many times, every time I stop in these rules, and I'm like, So those are the ones that immediately come to my mind. But
Thank you for those recommendations. If you could share one message about mindfulness that the whole world would hear, what would it be?
The whole world would hear. I think it's just mindfulness should not be about, it should be about today. So, because in one time, either we're worrying about the past, we feel shame and guilt, which are very low vibration. Like, why did I do that? Why I couldn't say that? What did he do to me? Or mind always goes there. Or we have the anxiety of what's coming next, Will I make the next month? The economy is going bad. Will they fire me? So our mind is either in the past or in the future. And it's like really hard. It's draining. So mindfulness can really help you to come today. Because past is past. Yes, it happened. There's nothing you can do. You need to make peace with it. Future, you can just imagine and dream and try to make it better. But it didn't happen yet and you have no control. Although we understand and we find this is easy, how are you going to find tools and practices that really help you to stay here? So this is what I would tell, I wish everybody takes, that they find some tools and practices that they help them to stay here.
Do you have a couple that you could recommend to help stay present?
Yes, it's going to be always repetition, but because they work, they always work. I always say, find a meditation to release the past.
Okay.
It can be forgiveness meditation. It can be liberating yourself so that you look at the past, because it's happened, right? You cannot forget it. You cannot act like it didn't happen. So this type of work can really help you to understand why it happened and take the lessons. And I will also say, find a manifestation kind of meditation for the future as well. So it gives you hope. It gives you this higher vibrations rather than anxiety. And in the end, those meditations should end with grounding. So you come back to today. This would be the easiest thing that I would say, actually.
Beautiful. Thank you for that. What do you think your unique skill set or superpower is that's helped you become successful?
I think I wouldn't say like unique skills. I think I worked a lot on it, is that I really like to understand this higher power and higher information, but then bring it to the lower state to today, how we can use it, how we can shift and change our life rather than just putting it, understanding the theory. Okay. Because theory is really nice. The religions are there, the teachings are there. As long as you don't put them in practice, you're not going to see the benefit. So I think my unique skill is to bridge the gap between two so that we use it today and it really helps us to navigate our life.
Beautiful. Speaking of success, how do you define that word? What does success mean to you?
Oh, if you asked me this 10 years ago, I would say, I want to be the marketing director. I would really define it differently. But now, either as I age or I've been in this journey for 10 years, success is for me is not kind of giving up on yourself. So no matter what happened, no matter the circumstances, no matter the economy, the people, the sicknesses, whatever, you don't give up on yourself about what you really desire and the feeling of alignment that you know, because when you go to sleep, you are alone with your consciousness, right? Even though you have a loving partner next to you, when we're just put our head, we're always alone there. And I think that type of feeling, you know what? Like, I didn't give up. Like, I don't give up on me. I still have what it takes to go on, but not in a way obsession is what I want to achieve. It's just in terms of life, that I know that I can move on. I know that this day will have a brighter day, is I would say what success is.
Beautiful. What does the word empowerment mean to you?
Empowerment means to me is that you're able to either do things or find resources or the people who can help you to do things so that you know that you want something and you can do it. So you're really empowered. It could be either speaking your truth. It could be either walking on your path of your desires. It could be either just accepting that you wanted to give this life for your kids and you're so happy just to witness them. It's just this type of embodiment.
I love that. Okay, we're going to jump into a little rapid fire section. So the next grouping of questions just be 1, 2, 3, 4-word answer type thing, okay? How would you describe yourself in one word?
Optimist.
What is your favorite self-care practice?
Journaling.
If you could teach one thing to the world, what would it be?
Self-love.
What's one thing you want but cannot buy with money?
Self-love.
If you could be remembered for one thing, what would it be?
I would be remembered for teaching people how to love and forgive themselves.
What is one thing you love about yourself that is not related to your physical appearance?
I was just going to say my smile is that I'd like to get unstuck. I don't stay there.
Unstuck. I love it. That concludes our rapid fire section. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. I created a bonus question for you that I did not send to you ahead of time. Gül, if you could take one feeling or one belief and bottle it up and give it to people, what would it be?
I think it would be joy, which is really hard. I've been trying to practice joy and understanding what joy is. Love, inner peace, and they all are at some points, but I feel joy a bit harder to achieve that state. I would like to give them a bottle of joy. They don't need to use it all the time. They need to be in joy, but when they need, they can just...
I love that. If you could have any 3 people, alive or dead, in the world sitting at your dinner table with you for dinner, who would those 3 people be and why?
Yeah, one, I would really love to talk with Louise Hay, to be honest, because I learned a lot from her books. I learned really, and the more I did her teachings, I realized, wow, they're really working. So I really wanted to ask her so many questions that are not in her book, just to understand. One would definitely be Louise Hay. Second one would be not from that field. I'm originally Turkish, and the founder of the Republic is like, how did you do it when everything? How can you create a country where everybody was colonized? You make everyone believe in the vision that you have. I would really, really love to sit with Atatürk. Like, I would die to have this actually. No, for me, just sitting around and you tell me which things it would be. And the third one is actually, I don't know my ancestors so well from both sides, from both my mother's side and from my father's side. But when I was in the fertility journey, I worked a bit on the ancestral healing modalities. So there's a great grandmother that I work a lot in during my sessions. I would like to sit with her and understand so that we can see how fortunate we are as women. Like right now, I know we complain a lot and we're not where we want to be. But when you go back a couple of generations before, it's a total different story. So I would like to learn from their wisdom as well, actually.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing that. If you could step into my shoes, what question would you have asked yourself that I didn't ask you?
Because I would actually ask myself, what do you do when the things get tough?
Okay, go ahead. Answer your question.
What I do when the things get tough, first I accept, I really cry. Because sometimes it's really, you need to take it out of your chest.
Release.
Acting like you are not there is this. I always say, whatever you don't cry, it's a block in your lungs, which is a block on your heart chakra. So when things really get tough, when you have these emotions, really face them first. You don't need to immediately transform them. Sometimes maybe you need to sit with those emotions. So this is what I do. If I have a really bad news, I don't just act like it's okay, it's going to be okay. No, I sit with it. Maybe I cry a bit on it. Maybe I stay in the grief. But then I always say, okay, like, you accepted it. How can we get out? How can we get out? Then first one is accepting. Second one I always do is doing the healing forgiveness work on it, because it's usually related to either you need to forgive yourself or someone else. Doing this work so that you can liberate yourself. And then how surrendering and how you can transform this story with the new beliefs or the new stories or new opportunities.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. If you had the opportunity to sit down and have a 1-hour conversation with one woman, any woman in the world, who would it be and why?
Living woman.
Or dead, it doesn't matter, either or, whichever.
Okay. So I would like to recently I'm reading a lot about Mother Teresa. I'm like, come on, this is like a bit too extreme. Like, how can you, because I read a lot, like how people treated her. It's not because she's an amazing figure. I really want to understand, she is, but I want to understand when people are really treating her bad just to make donations. Like, how did she really let her ego aside and let those people to treat her like that? Yeah. So this would be something that I would really like to sit and like, how can you open your heart to such a compassion? Because I still think that we're human and we have all these emotions. So I think that level of compassion is a different game. So how can you open up your heart to that level of compassion?
Yeah.
This is because recently I'm reading a lot about her. I would like to ask her these questions.
That would be a powerful conversation for sure. If you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be?
I would tell her to start immediately, because I started this journey after my 30s when I was going through this disease and I had to go through a divorce. And because I didn't know these tools, the process took me really long. I remember when I was trying to forgive myself, I was sleeping in the sessions, right? Because I didn't want to face myself. So I would tell her, you don't sleep in the session. You didn't pay for sleeping here. So do the work. I wish I know all the books that I read now, all the modalities that I read now. I would just tell her, you know what? start from somewhere. It's not just your career. It's not just your school. It's not just how the society sees you. It is what you invest in yourself. So you have this personal power. Because I struggle a lot, I didn't have the personal power. What would people think about me? What would they say about me was one of the biggest barriers that I had. So I would give her all the books, all the things as soon as possible.
Amazing. Lastly, Gul, if you were to deliver your last 30-second speech to the world, your people, your tribe, your corner of the world, what would that last 30 seconds sound like? What words of wisdom would you impart?
Last 30 seconds, you just need to do your part, but please do your part. And you let the other part of the divine universe, the divine intelligence, creator Allah to handle. So just do your part and then let them to do their part as well. So this would be my advice.
Beautiful, incredible way to end the interview. Thank you so much, Gul, for such a powerful interview, for taking and making the time to be here with me today, and for sharing your story, your journey, your experiences, and the beautiful light you put out into the world through the work you do. It has been an absolute honor and pleasure to have you as a guest on the Empowerography podcast. I am grateful to have you as a member of the Empowerography community and to now call you a friend. So thank you for being here with me today.
Thank you. Thank you for giving us this type of occasion so we can speak about these things and more people can hear about it, actually. Thank you for using your platform.
That's what we need to do. We need to share these things so that people are aware of what's out there. So thank you for sharing. I appreciate you. Could you share with the listeners where they can connect with you if they want to learn more about you, work with you?
Yeah. So in terms of social media, I just use Instagram. Sonmez, you can easily find me, my name and although it's very hard for some language. If you look at the show notes, you can find me easily. And from my website, it's the easiest way because I share weekly newsletters about the books that I read, about the meditations I do. I share a lot of journaling questions, what's happening that week, because I realize if somebody comes with a problem, that week almost all my clients come with a similar problem. Yeah. So sometimes in the collective energy, I wrote about this thing so they can follow up weekly and do the exercises that they like. They can start their journey.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Once again, my name is Brad Welsh, host of your Empowerography podcast. Today, my guest has been Gul Sonmez. She is a transformation coach, a master energy healer, and a mindfulness expert. Thank you so much for your time today. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day.
Thank you. You as well.
Thank you very much for listening to this podcast. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share with all your friends. You can find me at viseuphoria.ca and follow me on Instagram at Empowerography Podcast and on Facebook at Empowerography. Please join me next time for another inspirational story from yet another amazing woman.